go and have a look at your bios, tell the audience what they want, and always be yourself.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Marketing Snapshot. And this time I'm with Gus Bhandal of the M Guru. Hi Gus, how you doing?
Good morning. Hi, yeah, very well, thank you. Yourself?
Excellent, yeah, I'm great, thank you.
Good.
Gus, do you want to talk a bit about what you do?
Sure. So in essence, I help people with social media. So help businesses with social media. So one of the main things I do is I concentrate on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And I either train people how to use those platforms efficiently, or indeed I take it off their hands so that they can concentrate on their business while I manage their social media in the background.
Brilliant. Okay, that sounds good. So why is social media important in the marketing mix?
That's a great question. So in terms of what marketing nowadays has completely changed. So I've been marketing for a number of years, and whereas we have things like print advertising or articles or PR and all that kind of stuff, I think social media is we say it's the new kid on the block, but it has been around for 15 or 20 or so years or so, which is almost hard to believe. But I think it's really important for businesses to get to reach their clients and reach their customers in a really quick and efficient way, and comparatively cost effective, because most social media, although we could argue that it's not free because people are paying for ads, etc., not everybody has to pay for ads. For the majority of us to market our business, it's still free. So I think that's the thing. It's all about reaching clients.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and it's interesting actually because we kind of say it's free, but really it's not, because it does actually cost us time, which is quite a precious commodity. So actually doing it right is really important.
Yeah, one of the things I do is help businesses to make it efficient. I think that's the thing, and it's we can spend all day every day on social media, and if you just think that you should be everywhere, so by the time you've used Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok and Snapchat, and then written a blog and put something on your website and etc., sent out email marketing, by the time you've done all that, you've forgotten what you're supposed to be doing for a living. So it's I help businesses to make that more efficient, basically.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. And how do you do it differently to your competitors?
So I think one of the main things for me is that it's quite easy for me to say I've niched into social media. I mean, I can do other things like content creation and write blogs and write websites and all this other kind of stuff, email marketing, etc. But I've niched into social media because I think it's a great vehicle to get to customers. And I think what makes me different to others is the fact that it may sound silly, but there's that trust factor, because I don't tie people into contracts. It's more or less a pay-as-you-go service, and I offer that because I want the customer to be happy. And I think the important thing is that if things aren't working, we can tweak it, we can change it, or we can just kind of obviously end the relationship there and then. And I think what makes me different is the fact that I do have years of experience. I have all these qualifications and letters after my name and all that kind of stuff, but I've applied it. I know other businesses that haven't applied marketing. They've learned it. So I know the theory,
right,
but I've applied. I used to run a different business myself. I used to run a pub and restaurant as well. So I know how important it is to use social media to get people on seats, right? So
that's what it's all
I can
about.
I can say that I've trained in it and I've implemented it.
Which is always a bonus, isn't it, if you've actually done it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's too many people out there doing stuff in a theoretical way. So that's really good. And it is, just going back to something that you just said then in that answer, just kind of that it is really important as well with social media, isn't it, that you don't just kind of push it out there blindly. You have to think about what you're doing and kind of almost measure the results and see, tweak it as you go along.
Yeah, there's
Is that right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I manage kind of organic social media. So currently I don't do things like Google ads or Facebook ads or all that kind of stuff. So particularly when it comes to organic social media, there is a kind of a testing phase at, and we can all use our theory and our kind of application that we've learned in other places, but every single business is different. So one business might be incredible on Facebook, but another one may be best on LinkedIn, for example.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of testing that will take place in the early days to make sure that essentially you're reaching the right people. Because, like you say, you can just blindly post everywhere and just leave it and push it out there. But it's that's not what it's about. It's about the return as opposed to the push.
Yeah. So how do you kind of work out what's the best kind of channel to use if you're not going to go out and just do everything?
It's quite an extensive conversation that I would have with clients or potential clients in terms of who their ideal clients are, in terms of who they're looking for, the kind of people that they want to speak to, the kind of clients that they want, and essentially where they're going to sell. As a very broad brush, if you are a photographer, for example, or a videographer or a wedding supplier, or you have lots of great kind of brand photography, etc., you should use Instagram and Pinterest. Or if you're a B2B business, kind of selling a service-based business, you should be on LinkedIn. And it's this kind of very broad brush. But for me, it's about thinking about where your ideal audience is and thinking about where your clients are and where they're going to find you. Because, obviously we have hashtag searches on Instagram, we have long form content on LinkedIn, we have Facebook groups, Facebook pages, and then obviously we have Twitter, so Twitter hours and all this other kind of stuff. And it really is depending on if you want to work locally, nationally, with service-based businesses, with retailers, or whatever it may be. So it's about thinking about the ideal client and essentially where they would be hanging out.
Absolutely. And then once you've done that, then you've then got to start thinking about what's the right messaging for them. How are you gonna kind of get them to notice you almost? Isn't it?
Absolutely. I think a lot of businesses push out content to tell people what they do for a living. It's like, I do social media, isn't this great? And actually the audience, they don't care, right? They don't know what they want to know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could say, well, I've got 20 years of photography experience. Well, how does that translate to the client? The client will want to know, well, actually, I just want a decent headshot, or I want a photo that looks nice on my website. So if you tell them that, well, this is what you're going to get. And that applies to all marketing, not just social media. It's because as humans, we're selfish, right? We want to know what's in it for us. So
yeah, absolutely. But it's a really good point in marketing, isn't it? To kind of get through that, because you just see so many people that it's like, we were established in 1938 and we've been, so it's like, don't care.
Exactly.
All I want to do. It's like the old adage of nobody wants a 1/4-inch drill. They want a 1/4-inch hole.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So just before we finish, because it's not meant to be a long chat, it's really just to help people kind of get a flavor of social media and what you do, etc. Have you got one tip that anybody who's watching can go away and implement that will move their business forward?
Sure. So unfortunately, I'm going to give you 2 tips here, but only because
that's all right. 2's better than 1.
Yeah. So the first tip I always tell people is always be yourself, and I think it's very easy to get caught up in social media in terms of trying to be something you're not, or telling people about how great you are and all that kind of stuff. Personality goes a long way, and I think, and obviously yourself as a brand photographer and, kind of personal branding, that it, people love seeing other people's faces. People love seeing your smile and kind of you hanging out somewhere, and people want to know about you and your personal life and all that kind of stuff. So I would say that always be yourself. Don't try and, pretend to be someone else. But in terms of an implementation tip today, go to your social media channels, whichever social media channels you use, and re-look at your bio. So the bit that you've written about yourself. So whether it be your LinkedIn headline, or whether it be your little bit at the top of Instagram or Twitter, or your about section on Facebook, just go and just have a look, because a lot of people, they kind of write something for their business and basically write it from their own point of view. Like you say, I have this many years experience and I do this for a living, etc. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Change your bio for the audience. What do you give the audience and what do they get? Why should they follow you on your social media? So go and have a look at your bios, tell the audience what they want, and always be yourself.
I was going to say that's a great tip, but that's two great tips.
Yeah,
and yeah, and interestingly as well is making sure they're consistent as well across the different channels. Because I'm quite good at, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, so I'll go on and I'll tweak that. As I kind of learn a bit more about what my clients are looking for, I'll keep tweaking it. But I have to say, I'm absolutely terrible in going and tweaking the others. So that's a little job for me after this call, is to go and actually look at that and check that they are actually consistent and written. I think a lot of them are, but yeah, that's a good tip.
But the same in terms of consistency also applies to, for example, your banners and your profile photos and all that kind of stuff, etc. I use the same profile photo everywhere, and it's just, whether it be Clubhouse or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever it may be, and it's just, again, it's just that consistency thing, so that when people land on your profile, they know exactly who you are. They don't have to think. There's no kind of cryptic messages, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And it's funny enough, I was having this conversation in another one of these calls. I can't remember who it was with now, but we were saying the same thing, is that consistency in, especially in social media, is really, really important for your headshot, because our eyes are, our brains react to faces. We're geared to recognize human faces, and if you have a different headshot on every single platform, people won't get that consistency and they won't recognize you from platform to platform. So yeah, that's a good one.
True. Fab.
That's great. Thank you, Gus.
No worries.
So how do people get in touch with you? Is it something to do with the M Guru?
Yes, yeah. So quite literally, if you went to Google and typed in either the M Guru or my ad handle, which is M Guru UK, quite literally, if you go to Google, type in M Guru UK, and you'll find everything about me, whether it be my LinkedIn, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, my website, all my memberships, my membership with the Chamber of Commerce, or etc. So wherever you want to connect, more than happy to connect. The two places that I really hang out the most are LinkedIn and my Facebook group. So yeah, if you just search for M Guru UK, and you'll find them. That's
great. Thanks, Gus. That's brilliant.
No worries.
All right. So that was it. Social media done. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again on another marketing snapshot. Thanks very much, everyone. Well, goodbye.